How I Healed My Asthma, Part 2. I think this is Part 2 at least. So let's get into it. Hi, I'm Nick. I'm a medical doctor turned soul doctor and really grateful to be here. And I want to give a little shout out to a dear person, Prachi, who reached out after watching the first video, found me, found her way to a call with me and inspired this video, which is later on in the morning after having gotten off the phone, off the Zoom, and recognizing that there's more to this story. I'm so glad when you watch part 1 and now we're in part 2. And the first thing I'll say is that nothing I'm saying is the truth, planting seeds, planting my own story, and I do hope that you get something out of this for yourself and your own healing journey. So, I haven't healed my asthma. I haven't healed my asthma. And I say that because asthma is just the term, the diagnosis for what my lungs were experiencing. And it's not the same as what my lungs were experiencing. And I learned this because oh, the reason someone else might resonate, it's like, oh, I have asthma as well. And what you have is something going on with your lungs, your throat, your sinuses that may seem similar. It doesn't mean it's the same. They're the words that we use, and the words are just approximations of what's going on. And I haven't healed it because comparatively, so much better. Comparatively on the testing, totally normal. Compared to other people, lungs are probably better than most. And I'm continuing on this path because what I really want to do, free dive with the whales, run with my son, hike, go to Egypt, get into the caves, get into high places, and all those things I do better with better lung capacity. And I'm going to keep improving it. I'm going to keep doing the breath work. I'm going to keep doing the breath holds. I'm going to keep improving my diet, improving my energetic space, improving more sunshine. So there's so many components, and my lungs are just a part of it to tell me how things are going. So let's go back to that. Because every time, when I first healed from my asthma, I didn't get sick for years. And I thought, this is it, better forever, tell everyone, preach to the mountains, I've figured out the code. And then I got sick. I thought, what the heck? Didn't need antibiotics though. So rediscovered a new pattern. I'm able to get sick. I'm able to cough up phlegm, even color phlegm, even yellow, green phlegm, even having a fever, and then trusting the process. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. Cancel everything. This is the time to heal. This is the time to learn. This is the time to listen. Don't try to just fix the symptoms. Drive into the fever. Thank you for all the old stuff that's coming up that I probably didn't digest. Thank you for the stuff that I've been ignoring. Oh my God. In the doing of the work, I've forgotten when have I taken on someone's stuff, especially their grief, sadness, shame, without actually being conscious of it, without letting it flow through. And now it's finally coming out because my body, mind, and soul are connected. My body's just sometimes the first warning sign that I'm missing something and I'm actually listening now. And so yes, in a way, I'm going to remind you, I have healed. I haven't had a single course of antibiotics since 2018. And I used to have at least 2 courses a year. And then I also haven't had to take the rescue inhalers, although it's gotten quite close a couple times. And I did take it, I think one time when my dad came out and said, you really should take one. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it just to see. So because I realized, let's let go of the ego that says, I'm never going to take this again, because it's a beautiful tool when I need it. I just happen to not need it right now. And I'm really grateful for that. So, one of the things we actually got to talking about today is, whatever the illness is, there's a reason why we're creating that way. And for me, it kept on being before. If I was sick, then I could finally rest, play video games, take time off. I had to get so sick to actually leave being a medical doctor. And then as well, by being kind of sickly, I always had an excuse. Well, I've got this asthma thing. I'm the canary in the coal mine. I was reinforcing the story I told myself. And nowadays, I'm not like, I'm going to get sick or not get sick. It's just going to be what happens. And I've had to practice that because for a while, I was like, I'm no longer the person that gets sick. And then I did. And I was like, oh, shoot. What is my identity now? It's like, whatever it's going to be. What are the stories that I am telling myself? We are telling ourselves to try to maintain the current status quo because we're fighting actually just being with what is. We're trying to find the causes instead of actually just being the effect. I'm having trouble breathing, coughing, infections. I'm having trouble getting my voice clear. What's going on? My sinuses are always plugged up. What's going on? What might my body be trying to tell me? Am I willing to unlearn? Because that was a piece too. I had to unlearn everything I thought I knew in order to get to this point. And I had to follow the threads that just happened one day at a time. The moment I felt this much better, the first couple of days after not taking any medication for my asthma, I was like, I'm not going to drink alcohol. And I followed through with it. And we had so many bottles of wine, beer, everything else like that. I followed through with that. And nowadays, I just bought a whole box of alcohol for friends and family and loved ones. And like, do you want it? I was like, no. And then I was like, I'm going to try one little sip just to try the taste. Thank you. That's all I needed. I want to try the taste. And it was delicious. Love a good beer. Love a good wine. And that's not where I want to go these days. That's not where I want to place my energy. And maybe someday in the future, I'll have a different ability to transmute. But right now, I can still feel it. It's the same with, as I said before, fried chicken. First piece, great. It's really good. Second piece, my body's like, what the heck are you doing? I gave you one. Right? And so recently, after having come back from being in Hong Kong for 2 weeks and just being around all the EMF, all the energies, all the food, and indulging myself, I had so much good food, and I was like the trash compactor because I didn't want to waste good food. I got sick, really sick, burning lungs, coughing up so much stuff, fever. And it lasted a while, and I was still coughing stuff up. And I remind myself as early as I could, okay, this is happening for me, through me, by me. I was like, thank you for clearing the stuff I've been holding on to. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And at the end, right now, I have a spit jar because I'm trying to spit it out. I had one little spit after that call, and that was it. It's like, thank you for clearing stuff up. I'm really grateful whenever that happens. And it's a process. And then I come back to breathing again. I've done so many breathwork sessions, facilitating, holding, all the things. And I'm like, this feels so good. And soon, hopefully, I'm going to be doing some breath alchemy with Bob Frizzell. There's so many teachers that are out there that are teaching more and more things. And I wanted to make this video because I realized it was probably about a month or two ago. It's like my ego had me do the first video, how I healed my breath. And no one's going to watch a video that says how I got slightly better with my breathing, right? And how do I be honest? I haven't healed it because I'm willing to keep stepping deeper and deeper and deeper into it because I can't wait for more exciting things to unfold. I don't need to have the label of I've healed or prove to anyone else because it's the inner experience or the comparison experience. And then one of the key things for me is I kept moving because the environment, the people, the places, the things that created the environment for the dis-ease almost certainly, depending on the size and the magnitude of the disease, wants to change. And so for me, it was actually stepping far enough away from family, far enough away from those friends, far enough away from what I knew, far away from the rigidity of the mind, in order to find the space for new patterns, new ways of eating, breathing, living, sunshine, water, magnetism. If you watch my latest videos, so important to be with the sunrise. I used to wake up at 3 p.m. Now I wake up without an alarm at between 3 and 5 a.m. because I'm listening to the body more. I'm listening to what my body wants. I'm not saying I need to sleep 8 hours because my body doesn't ask for that. It asks for naps sometimes, it asks for rest, and I listen to it. And then as well, stepping away from the family because they're there to reinforce sometimes the old patterns. How do I step far enough away so that I can find myself, so that when I come back to it, and I have now, because I'm just like, when I'm with them, I'm like, thank you. I'm so grateful. Whatever it is, it was so easy before to blame you for everything. And now that life is so amazing, well then, who am I to not thank you for it? Because a part of it is everything that you did or did not do that has helped lead me to here. Give credit. And I can say that to everyone I meet now. It takes me a second sometimes, especially if they're pissing me off. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because life is freaking great. And then sometimes, there's that trigger piece that comes up again. Something happens, someone says something, some external event. And then, do I blame that, or it's a conflict inside? Because there's a piece that I'm gonna keep coming back to. I was getting something out of being sick and asthmatic and everything else. And then now I was getting something about saying I was healed from my asthma. And now I'm getting something out of just being like, I am what I am is what I am. And what I'm getting most out of it is the comfort of actually being me and being able to share. Because if, for example, tomorrow I start coughing up a lung and I want to share that video, it's okay. Because it doesn't mean I've lost my identity or I failed. It just means that's what's currently going on. I'm looking at and sharing with you the effect of what's going on. I'm not trying to diagnose the cause. What might I want to shift in this moment? And when we move, and what changes? Well, the kind of food we're able to access, the people that were nearby all the time, the environment of our home, whether you want to look at the EMF or electromagnetic frequencies, possible mold, possible humidity, possible temperature. Great if you can even move countries sometimes, whole change in culture, and we realize, oh my God, there's more than one way to look at things. There's not a normal etiquette. There's not a game that I'm learning to play, and that's the thing. We're all playing by our own rules, but can you actually figure out what your own rules are? Or if you spent so long copying everyone else's rules, you think they are the rules. And then you try to impose those rules on others. And you spend so much time trying to impose your rules on others and all that energy and control that you forget about yourself. And part of it sometimes when you're sick and diseased is it gives you something else to blame, someone else to blame. This person caused it. Oh my God, they had a heart attack, then this happened to me, it's their fault. Or it's always gonna happen. The moment I get better, something's gonna happen to a family member. So why would I wanna get better? Because then something's gonna happen to the next family member. As distinct from, if you have family members, at some point in your life, if you're lucky enough to live long enough, something is gonna happen. Something is gonna happen. And I say that cheekily, but also, I have parents, I have a brother. At some point they may get sick, they may die. And I say may because I'm not sure about this whole death thing, but we'll talk about it. But it doesn't mean that I don't think it's gonna happen for most people. And the moment that happens, I'm probably gonna have a lot of different emotions, feelings, and maybe even some lung stuff. Preparing for it isn't trying to outthink it. It's being with what is now and being willing to maximize the threshold for enjoying life, recognizing that there are these dips and not thinking I'm gonna get it so high that it's only gonna be a little dip. It's whatever it's gonna be. If it goes in a giant wave, it goes in a giant wave. I have so much support, so much love, so much trust, so many tools. And that's the thing, someone tries to say, well, I've done all the spiritual stuff. No, there's no way to, because there's always more to learn. The amount I know about what I'm doing or what there is to do in the fields I'm in, even for breath, spirituality, ceremony, compared to what actually is tiny. And so that's why I always say if I'm not changing things up and shifting, and I usually use the term every 2 years, then I'm becoming stagnant, thinking I've got it figured out, rather than being willing to accept the next layer, the next layer, the next layer. And I call them allies now, not teachers, not mentors, because I'm both giving and receiving at the same time. And I know that now. Part of it is having gotten to this point, realizing people just want to talk, hang out, be in my presence, not from an ego point, but they know they're getting something out of it. And part of it's because I just get to be me, and then they get to be more them, and radical selfishness, divine imperfection, trust is the process. There's so many different things. We play by our own rules. How do we play more Calvin ball? Dropping all these random little pieces. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to plant lots of burning rubber, so I'm gonna get out of here soon. Lots of different seeds so that the ones that want to sprout with you can. And I actually recently just met with an uncle who had planted seeds with me over a decade ago, and he wanted to have a spiritual talk. We got together for at least 5 hours because I said, I want to spend significant time. I love this man. And he could see things and guide me things. And then my beloveds asked me questions like, I didn't ask those great questions. I only had 5 hours. What do you mean you only had 5 hours? Like, there's so many things to talk about, so many dreams, so many experiences. And you ask different questions than me. I can't wait till we have more time together. Because the people that matter to me, the Ohana, not just the Ohana, but the really close Ohana, I want to spend more concentrated time with. Because those are the ones that feed into the energy, that feed those relationships. I don't want the depth of relationships. And we forget that too sometimes. All these different surface relationships are way easier in a way than the depth. And so your body has been with you your whole life, so the depth of your body. It's easier to wish I had a different body. I just want to change this piece out. Rather than say, I want to love this piece that my whole life I've considered diseased. And in that, step into the ease and the grace. Like my lungs are probably one of my most magnificent parts now. And I've been stretching them out differently. So my dear yoga instructor, Icy, has been showing me how I can stretch it out differently. I can't wait to speak to an opera singer soon to actually learn how to breathe differently. There's so many different ways to expand that capacity. And as I expand that, I'm expanding my body in different ways. I'm getting stronger in different ways. And even then, we went for a massage the other day, and they're like, you're so tight. I'm like, not good or bad, it just is. And it's their experience of me. Got it. And often I'm like, the moment I find out about something, I hope I'm not actually doing almost perfect, because then little tiny increments of growth rather than, oh, you're doing terribly. So much opportunity for growth. And I'm not attached to that anymore because where someone sees me in the spectrum, there's always huge opportunity for growth. So notice I'm catching myself even the lies that I'm telling myself in this moment. And this is a longer video. The ones that really want to see this will see this. And the ones that don't, you'll have stopped this already and it's okay. So as you're coming to this point in this video, recognize where are you at in your own journey of healing? Have you told yourself you're healed already? Or you've been healed and then broken and healed and broken? What are you actually looking for? You're looking for the next fix. I'm not going to fix you, and I used to try to do that for people. What I can do is plant little seeds for you to start seeing yourself and practices. Come to the Ohana breath. And for those who really are able to invest time, energy, money for the week long with at least another person, an investment of probably at least 5 figures Canadian into something that is deeply healing, transformative, life-changing, life-altering, that is not just for something is wrong, actually more so as where do you actually want to go, but you've got to have a big enough why in order to do that. And so people are often like, I want to come for that. It's like, do you really yet? You're not actually clear. Come to the Ohana breaths. Get yourself more clear. Do the other modalities you can see for yourself locally where you're at. And then when you're really prepared, when you're really ready to go and dive in, come and dive in. Why am I doing that way? I can't be all things to everyone. I'm not trying to be. Number one, I'm here for myself, my beloved, and my family. It's going to keep coming back to that. And I'm going to keep making these videos because I want to keep making space for people to see their possibilities. So asthma, substitute any other disease. But notice, is it my lungs? Is it my throat? Is it my sinuses? Different chakras. Heart chakra, so much grief. Throat chakra, where's my voice? Nose and the sinuses, probably going more up towards that third eye. All of that's okay. Bring together the East and the West. One's not better than the other. They're focused on different things. The Western side of things focus on diagnosis, giving you a name so you can actually relate to each other, but it's only a semblance of what it is. It isn't what it is. And they're giving you symptomatic treatment. You can treat the symptoms. And hopefully it's helping with the symptoms, because if it's not, then really it might be something else. They might be just trying to appease you. And then, am I willing to actually step outside of that, or do I want to stay attached to it and have this be part of my identity? Because sometimes it just wants to be part of your identity right now still. I am a person who has asthma, and therefore I have weaker lungs. Therefore you have to be this way around me. Therefore you have to avoid this. Therefore da-da-da. Therefore I don't have to do this. Therefore I don't have to work. Therefore I can say this. Therefore I can say, oh, I can't do that. Cool. Just notice the attachment to it. And the moment you're truly ready to let go, and the moment you're truly ready to receive help and support shows up. And it's okay. It took me decades to get to the point. And that's the thing I noticed. I made another video about awakening. I'm like, oh man, I have such compassion for people taking their sweet ass time awakening, because it took me my sweet ass time. And so when someone calls me, this person is 25 years old, I was like, you're 10 years ahead of me for before I was actually doing stuff. So you got so much time. Feel free. Do what you want. And if I were you, I'd probably get on this sooner rather than later, because life can be pretty darn good and we forget about that. Is there anything else? The throat chakra. Your voice matters, but first you've got to notice the voice you're suppressing and the voice you're expressing. So even the person I was talking with wanted to keep talking. I could notice it. The pauses were uncomfortable until I finally said, in the most loving way, shut up, because it's time to listen now. And I talked for about 10 minutes, and I said, okay, now is there anything else? And I noticed they went back. At one point, they went back to trying to justify their story. I said, pause, that's just the next layer. You already got past one layer, kudos. That was the next layer, and there's gonna be more layers, because there's always gonna be more family members who can either get sick, diseased, or die. And every time that happens, if you have another episode, don't say it's because of them, or why did it come back? Oh, there's another layer for me to learn. What other tools do I want to learn about? And as I go through this may be my gift back to the world, or related at least to my gift back to the world. It doesn't have to be like what I'm doing. Oh, you don't have to become a healer, or a guide, or a facilitator, or a coach, and all those names. You can bring that into whatever you're doing, and the best thing I think these days is bring together multiple modalities from different disparate fields, and then tying them all together. And that's why people often is like, how do you know about financial markets? How do you know about sports and what the latest NFL stuff is? How do you know about the political environment? How do you know about the healthcare environment? How do you know about the pharmaceutical environment? How do you know about the wars that are going on? How do you know about travel? It's because I play with all those things in order to weave together what I do. And that's what makes my work unique. And so the other day I was driving home going, what I'm doing is incredibly powerful, one of a kind, no one can experience this. And at the same time, that paradox thinking, if I died tomorrow, very little would change. And being able to be with both. I am incredibly important to the entire cosmos and completely insignificant. Be with the paradoxes. You are incredibly healed and completely diseased. Can you remember the beautiful, magnificent soul that you are that chose to come to this body with this life, with these problems, with these health conditions, with these parents, with these family members? And then practice being with it all to remember what it is that you're here for, and in the same token, getting to live better and better. And don't fault yourself for all the paths you've gone down to get to here, because they were all just part of the tuition to get to this point, and you're still going to keep paying tuition for the next point. Whether it's in money, health, time, feelings, emotions, illnesses, injuries, losses, griefs, sadness, joys, excitements, celebrations, wins, exuberance, sunshine. And I'm here with the sun, reminding you, sunlight, water, magnetism, three of the most important things. Feel free to drop some comments, ask some questions. Looking forward to being with you in your health and healing. Ciao for now.